Hi guys, it's Humpday lesson day. Hello you guys, how you guys doing? I'm gonna do a lesson today. I have a feeling a lot is coming out of me as far as like things that I've learned and I'm working on. It's just a lot of stuff could happen on this lesson, I think. Anyway, let's just get started with it. So I was talking about triads and also seventh chords. Seventh chords are 4-note chords. You have 1, 3, 5, 7, 4 notes. Triads, you have 4 types. You have major, minor, diminished, and augmented. And augmented triads are symmetrical with the octave. 4, 4, and 4. Major third, major third, major third. Or if it's diatonic, major third, diminished fourth. If you flat a note in an augmented triad, you get a major triad. If you sharp a note in an augmented triad, you get a minor triad. That's a good thing to remember. So augmented is between major and minor in a certain way. You have augmented in the middle. You sharp a note, you get a minor triad. If you flat a note in it, you get a major triad. It's really cool that symmetry. And then there's the diminished triad. So minor triad is minor third, major triad is major third, minor third. Augmented triad is major third, and diminished triad is major third, minor third. And then the seventh chords, okay, so there's 4 types of triad and there's 12 notes, so there's 48 triads, basically, in music. That's the way I look at it. Now with seventh chords, you got 4-note chords and there's more options. The first is the diminished seventh. If you flatten a note in a diminished seventh chord, you get a dominant seventh chord. So it's diminished. Flatten one, you get a dominant seventh. That's interesting. Anyway, you raise a note, sharp a note in a diminished seventh triad, you get a half diminished triad. No. If we sharp a note in a diminished seventh arpeggio, you get a half diminished seventh arpeggio. Otherwise known as a. So diminished arpeggio is third, minor third, minor third, minor third. Or just minor third, minor third, minor third. But the rest is either another minor third or an augmented second if you're doing diatonic stuff. Flat note, you get a dominant seventh. Sharp a note, you get a half diminished seventh. Half diminished seventh. From diminished seventh, started with diminished seventh. Sharp a note. And then you have a minor 7.5 or half diminished seventh on a different root. The same root, really. It depends on how you look at it. And then that's 3 types of seventh chords. You got diminished seventh, half diminished seventh, and dominant seventh. Then there's minor seventh and major seventh. Dominant seventh stands between those two. So a dominant seventh is major third, minor third, minor third. and then maybe a whole step up for that. you root flatten the third, you get a minor seventh. That's minor third, minor third, whole step. Back to the dominant seventh. If you raise the seventh, you get a major seventh arpeggio. And that's major third, half step. So the dominant seventh stands between the minor seventh and the major seventh. The dominant seventh of flat third is a minor seventh, the dominant seventh of raised seventh is a major seventh, and the diminished seventh stands between the half diminished seventh and the dominant seventh. The diminished seventh with any note flatted makes a dominant seventh arpeggio, and a diminished seventh arpeggio with any note sharp makes a half diminished seventh arpeggio or minor 7 flat 5 arpeggio. Minor 7 flat 5 is full, minor third, major third, whole step. And since there's 5 types of seventh chords, there's dominant seventh, major seventh, minor seventh, diminished seventh, and half diminished seventh, and there's 12 notes. There's actually 60 diminished. There's actually 60 seventh chords in music, at least how I look at it. And then and in jazz, you just play any note you want. You play 60 chords all over any note in the chromatic scale you feel like playing. It's a major scale bass, but you can do all kinds of stuff in jazz. There's no note you can't play in jazz, but you have 60 chords. Because you got 12 notes, and each note can have a dominant seventh, major seventh, minor seventh, half diminished seventh, or diminished seventh, and that makes 60 chords, and then you got 12 notes to play over them, and there's that. Now, the blues turnaround I like to work on. You start with the dominant seventh. If I'm in E, the dominant seventh, it's 4th string, 14th fret, 3rd string, 16th fret, 2nd string, 15th fret, 1st string, 16th fret. And then you do a trick where if you raise a note in a diminished seventh, you get. I mean, if you raise a note, if you flatten a note in a diminished seventh, you get a dominant seventh. But that means if you raise a note in a dominant seventh, you get a diminished seventh. But also that means that if you flatten 3 notes of a dominant seventh, except the root, you get a diminished seventh. So that's what you do with the first part of the turnaround. Is you take this, flatten 3 of the notes to get a diminished seventh. Interestingly enough, that diminished seventh is part of the 4 chord, if you can believe that. It's actually a 4 chord. It's a 4 dominant 7 flat 9. The whole chord would be. So in E, that would be an A. It's an A dominant 7 flat 9, but that can also be considered and C sharp diminished seventh arpeggio, because if the 4 is the root and the 4 is A in the key of E, then the major third is C sharp, and C sharp takes the minor third, minor third, and then you have an A for the root. So I'm going to do a tapping version of this all later, so don't worry, it gets even more boring. No, it's actually more exciting actually, but whatever. So that becomes part of a 4 chord. Then you're going to slide everything down. Oh, and those notes are 4th string, 13th fret, 3rd string, 14th fret, 2nd string, 13th fret, 1st string, 14th fret. The 7th, and then you're going to slide everything down a half step. Now that's another diminished 7th, because you just slid it from a diminished 7th to a diminished 7th half step down. That's 4th string, 12th fret, 3rd string, 13th fret, second string, 12th fret, first string, 13th fret. Now that's actually part of a 5 chord, if you can believe that. How about that? And the 5 chord in E is B. So you have a B note that that is actually the root of the dominant 7th thing. Make sure that that's true. E, F, G, A, B, B, C, D, E. Yeah. So B note. Make sure that all syncs up. Wait, I'm not sure. Wait. Okay. That. Oh, the 5 chord. Okay. So you have. Oh, I goofed, you guys. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. I slipped down too far. I went down a whole step. I'm sorry. I knew that was wrong. Something was wrong. So the first chord is an E dominant 7th chord. That's 4th string, 14th fret, 3rd string, 16th fret, 2nd string, 15th fret, 1st string, 16th fret. Then you slide 3 of the notes down. So you have the 4 chord is basically an A dominant 7 flat 9, and that implies C sharp diminished 7th, which you're playing here. And the notes are the frets are 4th string, 14th fret, 3rd string, 15th fret, 2nd string, 14th fret, and 1st string, 15th fret. And then you slide everything down a half step to get this idea. That's part of the 5 chord, which is a B dominant 7 flat 9. Yeah, that actually makes sense. Okay, and the notes there, the frets there are 4th string, 13th fret, 3rd string, 14th fret, 2nd string, 13th fret, 1st string, 14th fret. So now you have it's a B dominant 7 flat 9 chord, and if it's a B dominant 7 flat 9 chord, then it is actually also a D sharp diminished 7th arpeggio. And the whole and the B yeah, because the chord would actually be with also this note. It's part of the 5 chord, and the 5 chord in E is a B chord. So it's a B dominant 7 flat 9, which is also a D sharp diminished 7th. Okay, now the final chord, you go, this is how I look at this. Remember I said a diminished 7th with a note sharp becomes a minor 7 flat 5. But you can also flat 3 notes of the diminished 7th and get a different minor 7 flat 5. So, because flatting 3 is like moving 1 up. It's a funny thing. So I'm going to move 3 of them down to this. And that makes a G sharp minor 7 flat 5. But then I'm going to take, and the frets there would be 4th string, 12th fret, 3rd string, 13th fret, 2nd string, 12th fret, and 1st string, 14th fret. And that was a G sharp minor 7 flat 5. So I'm not going to leave it like that. I'm going to say, well, if it's a G sharp half diminished, then that's an incomplete E dominant 9. And if I have an E dominant 9, I can play the G sharp half diminished as basically substitute it for an E dominant 7. So I'm going to take the 9th and move it down a half step to the root of the E dominant 7th chord. If you really want to play the 9th, you could add that too. That's kind of obtuse, and nobody needs to hear it really. So I'm going to go. So now the frets on that are 4th string, 12th fret, 3rd string, 13th fret, 2nd string, 12th fret, 1st string, 12th fret. So here's the whole thing. And in B it would be, in A it would be, in G, in F, so I can do F, But it doesn't. And what's interesting is you can tap this out too. And I haven't done this yet, but I'm about to. Unfortunately or unfortunately, I'm gonna do it in. Let's say G. So I'm gonna start with a G dominant seventh. Let's not do G. Yeah, let's do G. Let's do G. So that's a G dominant seventh, tapped out. So it's third string 12th fret, third string 16th fret, third string 19th fret, third string 22nd fret. It's major third, minor third, minor third. I'm going to flat every note except the G to get this. And then that would be a, believe it or not, that is an E diminished seventh, which is also which is also substitutable for a C dominant 7 flat 9, and C is the fourth chord in the key of G, G, A, B, C. And then I'm going to slide the whole thing down a half step. Oh yeah, the frets there are third string 12th fret, third string 15th fret, third string 18th fret, third string 21st fret. I'm going to slide everything down a half step. And now that, believe it or not, is an F sharp diminished 7. And that supports a D dominant 7 flat 9. And D's the 5 chord in the key of G. So it's a 5 dominant 7 flat 9. In this case, without the 5 in it. And the notes there are third string 11th fret, third string 14th fret, third string 17th fret, and third string 20th fret. Now the final move, I'm gonna go as if I'm gonna turn everything except the A note down a half step first, which gives me this. I think it does. Wait, let me try that again. I go like this. And I go hand da, 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 da. Yeah, that looks right. That looks right. Yeah. No, that's that half diminished seventh. What I did was I lowered every note except the A note. So when I did that, I get a B minor 7 flat 5. For now, that's what I'm going to do. Yeah, and the note frets there are third string 10th fret, third string 14th fret, third string 16th fret, and third string 19th fret. But I don't like that sound. It sounds too weird. So I'm gonna, instead of playing, yeah, there we go. That's better. Instead of playing it as a, because it's actually like I said, a B half diminished arpeggio. I'm going to play it as a G dominant 9th arpeggio, but without the 9th. With the 9th, without the 9th. So now I'm back to G7. That's the home key chord that I'm in. The one key in G is G. In this case, now I have third string 10th fret, third string 12th fret, third string 16th fret, third string 19th fret. Now that's a G dominant 7. Because I made it instead of playing a B half diminished, I put a major third below the B, making it a G dominant 9, and then take out the 9, which is the A, and then just have these notes. So voila, I have this whole thing. If you take the whole thing together, and that's that whole turnaround, but tapped. So once again, G7, E diminished 7th, F sharp diminished 7th, And finally, G dominant seventh again. So I like that. I like that. You can so it's G dominant seventh, E diminished seventh, F sharp diminished seventh, E dominant seventh, and then just play with it and have fun. You know, I could go like this. I could go maybe. And E, I could go. Chord form. Keep F sharp. Slower, mid to bone. And maybe a different way of playing it, you could go, let's try something different. Let's try going like this. Let's go. Almost had that. Let's try it again. That doesn't sound right. That sounds terrible. What did I do wrong there? Oh, wait. That would be, wait, I got this. Okay, so I started here. That's this. Frets for that. This is in C sharp, blues. C sharp dominant seventh is ninth, 6th string 9th fret, 5th string 11th fret, 4th string 9th fret, 3rd string 10th fret. Then it's 6th string 9th fret, 5th string 10th fret, 4th string 8th fret, 3rd string 9th fret. Then it's 6th string 8th fret, 5th string 9th fret, 4th string 7th fret, 3rd string 8th fret. And finally, that's another C sharp dominant 7. That is 6th string 7th fret, 5th string 8th fret, 4th string 6th fret, and 3rd string 6th fret. How about fingerstyle? Give A. G. G of C. Let's try it again. G. G up here. F, E of F. E of B. G of A, G sharp or A flat. Love it. All that I had to analyze. All I really knew is guys always go. Blues guys, Robin Trower. That's all I had to go on. And I had to analyze it from there. I figured what are the other notes and why they played and how they relate to a blues progression and blah blah blah. How do you arpeggiate it? How do you linearize it? How do you tap it? It took me like over time, and then it took me a couple hours and maybe another couple hours. It took about 4 hours of meditation in the last few days to get this all down like I just have. That's the whole thing in G. G7, E diminished 7, F sharp diminished 7, and G dominant 7. I'm not done with it. Just try a little bit more. Let me get some distortion here. Key of B. Beginning of I don't live today, but it's an experience. So anyway, that's one of my favorite things that I've probably ever studied and learned, because basically I did it on my own, and second of all, it's really hard, and third of all, it sounds kind of good, and fourth of all, it's a legendary lick. Only nobody has, in my knowledge, to my knowledge, done it full out like I just explained to you guys. That's in the key of C. C dominant 7. And then A diminished 7th. And then I'm in C, so C, D, E, F, G, G, A, then B, B diminished 7th. And then back to C dominant 7th. Rough to analyze all that on your own. Let's do it in A. It's just some like hot for teacher type stuff. You know? This occurred to me a couple things about tuning. Jimi Hendrix always said, man, cowboys only the only ones that stay in tune. Sorry, it takes so long to tune and stuff. But I don't mean this demeaningly, because women are the gods. Men are just good, if we can be. But what they say, women's work is never done, because when you clean, you just have to clean again. But tuning is like the woman's work of a guitar. If you tune, you're just going to go out of tune again. It's a really vicious cycle. Let he who thinketh he tunes, let he who thinketh he's in tune take heed lest he go out of tune. You're always going to go out of tune easily. So just play guitar. Don't worry about being in perfect tune all the time. You'll never play. But that's my idea. Let's do it in E now. Let's do it in E. Anyway, I love things like this. Keep me interested. I'm already interested in guitar. Nothing's happening there as far as changing that, but maybe making it more interesting to me. Keeping my interest is learning things like that. You know, I mean, when I started the meditation like 2 days ago, and I just sat on the bed and listened to Rainbow, or watched Rainbow / listened to Rainbow. Meditating for 2 hours just to start it, and then I did another hour of meditating on my walk, and maybe another hour after that on a different walk. So 4 hours of meditation. There was no answer to me, and there was no reason, and I didn't know I was going to get the answer. I just thought there was an answer and hoped I would get it. So, and that's sometimes all you have, and just go from there. And I ended up getting it. Love you guys. Peace, love, and rock and roll.